there we
Yeah,
go.
definitely. I want to start off by saying a big fan. I love the latest record. Love everything you do. Actually, you're a huge influence on my sound. I watched that video you did with reverb on trumpet subtone. I remember just shedding that religiously for
Hmm.
like 5 minutes, and it made a huge difference in my sound. Just
Hmm.
getting all the air and like that, just the
Hmm.
control over the upper register. So I really thank you for that.
Man, love. That's much love, man. That video was fun to make. I remember that. But it's really about hearing that sound in your head. Like that's the type of sound that I hear. So for me, it was kind of natural to produce that sound. But I'm glad that you were able to get to that vibe as well. Um, they asked me to play a little something before we get started, so I'm going to play something. And you have your horn ready as well. I want you to play something as well.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Yes, sir.
I bet you know this tune. I'm just gonna play it. So we were talking about, man, before, when you just got back in here, we were talking about how I just separate my practice routine. I
Okay.
was saying how trumpet playing goes in its own category, and musicality and learning tunes and improvisation and all the things that fall under that umbrella, that's in another category. As a trumpet player, the most important things for us is being able to execute and articulate and play this thing, right? So I was explaining to Greg, I've been doing the same routine since high school. It's a 7-step routine. I start with breathing, 4 or 5 minutes. Second thing is I move to free buzzing, some type of free buzzing. The third thing is I move to the mouthpiece, being able to produce a really solid sound on your mouthpiece that just corresponds to having a beautiful sound on your horn, right? So if you can produce a good sound on your mouthpiece, you can get a good sound on your instrument. So the third thing I do is I focus on mouthpiece buzzing, right? The fourth thing I do, this is a part of the Adams routine, and I'm sure you may be familiar with this. I
Hmm.
take out the lead pipe, right?
And you just buzz through
Tuning
the. I got
slide, and you buzz, yeah. Right? That's the fourth thing. Then I move on to articulation, lip slurs, and then pitch bends, right? And then after I practice those things, I find some type of etude that sums up all of those things, play that etude, and that's my technical practice, right? I do that when I'm really on point, I do that every day, right? So the objective is they're two separate things. So we work on the technical things, and now we can actually relax and move on to something musical, right? Before I get off on my tangent, man, I wanted to know. First, I wanted you to play something for me. Now, I don't know if you caught the ballad that I played beforehand. You froze up when I was playing. Did you catch any of that?
Yeah, I caught some of it. Some of it kind of like went in and out because of the connection, but I caught the general gist of the tone. What was the name of the tune?
The tune, I was going to ask you, don't know what tune that was. It's a beautiful ballad. Write it down. I want you to learn this. Next time we see each other, you should know this tune. It's called Darn That Dream.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. You know that tune? You know that tune?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why I had a brain fart and I forgot it.
Cool, man. So before we get into it, I want to hear you play a little something, man. Just whatever is on your heart, play a little something for me. Beautiful, man. Beautiful, beautiful sound, beautiful approach. And that's also one of my all-time favorite ballads, Misty. Do me a favor, take a course. Take a course. Let me hear you improvise a little bit. Yeah, man. Beautiful, beautiful. Right? So, what's the number one thing, the difference you heard between your approach on Misty and my approach, if you had to sum it up?
Yours is more lyrical, definitely.
You got straight to it. Lyrical. Exactly. I loved everything you played. Every single note was beautiful. But this kind of goes back to what I was mentioning before you got back on, before you got disconnected. Having a connection to this tune and knowing what the tune is about, right? So the first few lines of this tune, Misty, look at me, I'm as helpless as a kitten in the tree, right? This is a love song, right? So our sound and our approach, we want to convey that emotion over this tune, right? What's the second, something else that you noticed that I was doing? Lyrical.
Just you were hitting the key centers. Like I knew where you were in the changes.
Highlighting the changes. That's something I'm looking for specifically. Yes, you also did a great job at that. What else did you notice?
Just how more airy the tone was.
Subtone. Yes. I was looking for thematic, right? I kept purposely coming back to this shape. Right? So I purposely wanted to take that shape throughout, in some type of way throughout the chord change, throughout my solo over this tune. And to me, that makes it more conversational. It makes it more lyrical. It makes it more vocal-like, right? So I want you to take another course from me. I want you to take some type of shape, some type of theme, superimpose that throughout your improvisations over this tune, right? And just think about the lyrics to this tune. Think about romanticism and being, as helpless and in love, right? Approach the song and improvisations with that in mind, all right?
Okay. Oh, let me try that again.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, beautiful, beautiful. I want you to, I want you to play less, more, even less than that. I said play less, more, less than that, right? Over exaggerate what you just did. Cut that in half. Really sing over the tune, right? Check me out. Right? So sing, right? Play
Gotcha.
less. Challenge yourself to play less, right?
Hmm.
Take just the first two A's for me. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Yes, yes. More in that direction, right? Now, how often do you sing? Do you sing?
Yeah.
Good, good question. Good answer. I ask my students often, like, you know, do they sing or are they afraid to sing? And a lot of them answer that they are, and it shouldn't be that, right? We have to build an intimate relationship between our voice and our instrument, right? Me personally, the type of sounds and the type of musicians that I'm attracted to, they sound like they're singing through the instrument. Roy Hargrove, my all-time favorite. I know you know Roy. You hear him play, and he literally sounds like he's singing through the bell of his horn, right? So lately, I've been singing a lot, and I'm not the best singer, but it just helps me kind of internalize and musically visualize how I want to sound on my instrument, right? So I want you to just sing the first two A's. The first two A's is Misty. Sing an improvisation. I'll go first, right? Let me see. Right? Boo wee dee dee dee. Doo doo dee. Boo dee da. Boo dee dee. Dee dee dee. Boo doo dee da da. Boo doo wee da. Boo doo dee da. Boo doo wa da da dee. Sweet boo bee da. Boo doo dee da. Boo boo wee. Wee boo doo doo wee da da. Right? Something as simple as that,
Hmm.
right? And then I would try to play and mimic something like that, right? I'm trying to match the sounds and the voice that I'm hearing in my head, right? Right? So for me, that just gets me one step closer to playing lyrical. Because it's easy to get on a ballad and go, right? We don't want to hear that on a ballad. I don't want to hear that on a ballad. I want to hear musicians sing from their soul, right? Sing the first two A's to Misty, right? Let me hear you.
Okay. Ah, shit.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you ain't telling me you can sing for real though. Beautiful. Now, right, take a second, remember that sensation, remember that vibration, and try to play similarly to what you just sang, right? Again, that's our ultimate goal, right? This is just an extension of our voice. When you hear me play, I'm trying to sing what I'm hearing in my head, right? Now play. Do that exact same thing through your horn. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I personally heard a difference from the first time we played Misty, a few courses ago, three courses ago, till now. To my ear, you sound more lyrical, right? So when we're playing on a bandstand or in a recording situation or any situation, right? The ultimate goal is to sing through the instrument, man. Like I said, when you hear me, that's what I'm trying to do. I want to do one more thing. How much time do we have left before I get off?
Looks like we got 30 minutes.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Another thing that I used to do, and I still do this today, but in high school, I made sure, high school, college, I made sure that I did this after every single practice session. And that's playing free, completely playing free. Do you know what I mean when I say sit and just play free?
No, elaborate.
Okay. So, it's actually what I'm saying. You're playing completely open and free. You're not thinking about rhythm. You're not thinking about pitch. You're not thinking about key center. You're not thinking about the drummer, the bass player. You're trying to be completely clear, and you're just playing the notes and the shapes and the colors that come to your mind, right? I'll give you an example. It sounds more abstract than it is, but it's literally just putting the horn to your face and playing the things that come to you naturally without thinking about, keys and rhythm, right? So, for instance, in that excerpt, I wasn't thinking about pitch. I wasn't thinking about key. I was trying not to think about anything, and I just played the shapes and the colors that came to me. Try that for me.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful, right? So let's say the two excerpts we just played, let's say those were dark blue, right? Now I want us to do the exact same thing, but now I want us to play another color, right? AKA different shapes, different emotions, right? I'll go first. Let's say that's a different color. Now, give me a different color other than dark blue, right? Beautiful, beautiful. And the beautiful thing about this, there is no right, there is no wrong, right? You're playing shapes that are coming out of you, right? Let's do one more color, right? So let's say the first color we did was dark blue. Let's say that was a burgundy, right? Let's play another color, something lighter, right? And again, we're not thinking about key, we're not thinking about rhythm. We're completely clear. We're playing shapes that come to us, right? Yeah, yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, in doing this, I recommend you. I'm going to challenge you in your practicing now. At the end of each session, just sit and play free for a bit, right? Record yourself. I have so many. This is my iPhone. I have so many original compositions in my phone from me simply recording myself playing free. That's a compositional approach, right? Record yourself playing free, listen back, and take out some of the ideas and some of the shapes that you like and build on those, right? Do you compose music?
Yes.
Beautiful. I want to say you should be. And one more thing, just about playing free. For me, I noticed, and first of all, on trumpet, everything we do is a sound exercise, right? We know that it doesn't matter if we're doing long tones, if we're reading a part in big band, we're always thinking about our sound. It's a sound exercise. And for me, sitting and playing free really got me steps and steps closer to my original sound, right? Because you're not thinking about blending with someone. You're not thinking about pitch. You're not thinking about rhythm. You're not thinking about key. You're simply playing, right? So what's coming out is from you. So for me, when I was doing that, it taught me the keys and the types of notes that I like on the trumpet, right? One of my favorite notes on the trumpet is a B flat, R B flat. You can play that pitch in so many different colors, so many different ways. And I discovered that from playing free. Something as simple as that, right? So I encourage you to really, really, really do that. Any questions about anything?
Uh, Actually, yeah, I got a couple.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
Let's see. Let's see. I had them all prepped
What?
up before we did this.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, here's a good one. What was your approach to releasing your first album, body of work? Because I have a single that I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
ready to release. But as far as like going as far as the marketing, like how do I get it out there? How do I not do something aggravating like texting it to all my friends? Because like I'm pretty sure we've all been there where it's like we don't want somebody texting me like, hey, listen to my album like 3 times a week, So what was your approach in getting out your body of work and like marketing it and getting people to listen to it?
Yeah, I mean, the game has changed a bit, since I put out my first project. Um, Honestly, now you can do everything from your home. What you're doing, you can get a tune core. Um, you can have your music on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, all digital platforms from the push of a button, right? And also, social media is, I would say, the biggest asset you have right now in putting out music. Build your following, get your brand up on your social media. Make sure your Instagram and your Facebook and all of your media platforms have the same imagery, right? Because when you think about it, you're your own business. You are your own boss, right? So when you go to these social media platforms, you want it to be held to the highest regard, right? You want things to look professional, and also, man, just put the music out. Honestly, I remember when I was putting my first project out, I was so hesitant to do it. It gets to a point where it's just like, you know what, I'm just going to release it and let it resonate with whoever it resonates with. So you can move on to the next thing and then move on to the next thing. And then that's where the growth starts to happen, right? So I would definitely say utilize social media, man. Utilize the internet and this technology that we have.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And piggybacking off of the fact that the game has changed, how do I, as a black guy playing trumpet, how do I break through the saturated music market today when there's so many different people doing the exact same thing? That there's so many people doing the Nicholas Payton thing of trumpet and piano. There's so many people doing the I sing and play piano and trumpet. So like, how is it that I, break through the saturated market?
Man, that's a good question. And the answer that comes to me and feels the most honest and resonates with me the most is just be yourself. Like put put your energy into your craft. Try not to worry about what other people are doing. Of course, check out music to get inspiration and learn from others. But almost to a certain extent, you have to have tunnel vision about your vision and about how you want to sound, and make sure you're authentic in your art. Because if you're not, people will feel it. Like they'll listen to it and say, "There's something. This isn't real." Like people can hear when music isn't real. Trust me, that uh, among all languages, music is the healing component, and it connects us all around the world. People can feel if your music isn't real, right? So I would say, man, just be true to yourself and your vision. Don't worry about, try not to be influenced, from other sounds that are happening, and or what he's doing. Oh, his music sounds this way. Maybe I should arrange this so I can sound it. No, do your thing, right? And for me, that resonates with people. They'll notice and they'll be connected to your music, and that's really what I've been doing for a long time. Just putting my energy into my voice and putting my music out there, and people who it's meant to resonate with, it will.
Okay, and when did you start to realize your vision, or kind of get that picture of like what it is that you wanted to do?
hmm I put my first project out, I think 2011 or 2012, and that was actually the first set of music I had ever written. And for me, even just putting out that project was transformative, and I learned so much. To me, that was kind of the catalyst of me shaping my own sound. And I don't think I would have gotten there if I didn't challenge myself to push and put this project out. But when I really reflect, I'll say about my third project. When I listen back to my first two projects, my sound is there, but I feel like when I reached my third project, it was called The Poet. I feel like I found, the thing that I have been searching for, and I just kept building off of that. So it really boils down to spending time with yourself and, your sound, and really resonating with the things that resonate with you, and making sure you're true to your art.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then I had another one I want to ask you was
hmm All
oh
good
yeah,
questions.
where do you see the music field going, in this post COVID-19 world where it's like we can't, do live performances, we can't do things like jazz fest because it's like a large crowd of people. So where do you kind of see it going? Do you see it more leaning towards like record and album releases as opposed to like live performances? I just want to get your opinion on that.
hmm Yeah, things are definitely changing, man. And honestly, it's hard to call. I'm being optimistic, man. I think that the world will one day get back to some normalcy, and we'll be able to travel, we'll be able to tour and give people the music that they need, because it really is more than just music. It's healing to people. I also, man, my theory is once all this blows over, like us touring and traveling musicians, we're going to be needed even more, because people they need art, they need music, they need to be touched, and that's what we do. That's why it's so important for us to be authentic in what we do, because people are being touched by this music. So again, I'm optimistic. I think who knows when, maybe a year and a half, two, things will be back to normal. We'll be able to tour and play in nightclubs and go to festivals and give master classes. But I do think in the meantime, there's going to be a lot more of platforms just like this, online festivals, online master classes. I know even universities for the fall, they're planning on, teaching big band online and theory classes. Everything is going to be digitally and online. So I think we are going to be stuck in this world for a bit, which isn't the worst thing, because it's teaching us all that we need to have our home studio set up. It was cool to see the musicians and the platforms that were really on top of things. Like, as soon as this COVID happened, certain platforms were like, okay, we want to do this digitally, and they were ready right away. So I do see we're going to be stuck in this for a minute. Yeah. To be for real, but optimistic one day we'll be back to touching people, in person. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I miss Jazz Fest.
And, bro, I've never been to New Orleans. You're in New Orleans, right?
Yeah, I'm in New Orleans.
Man, I'm a trumpet player. I've never visited New Orleans. That's on my list. 2020. I'm gonna hit you up when I'm down there. I
God
am,
willing,
man.
we'll fix that. We'll fix that for next summer.
Man, yo, please. I've never been in New Orleans, bro.
Bro, I will give you a grand tour. Don't even worry about it. We're gonna get some.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to that, bro.
Po' boys.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Can I ask a question? So your record meditation tapes. Can you kind of like dig into your process on how you made that record? Like how much of that was like how did you go about, like did you produce that at home on your like on Logic, and then did you bring it to Cats? Did you like what was the process on making a record like that?
Yeah, that one, man. That one was a fun one to put together. And actually, that was the first project that kind of started this new formula that I use to write music. So for meditation tape, I mean, it all started with actually interviews. I don't know if you guys know the great Marvin Boogaloo Smith, drummer,
Of course, yeah.
played with Sun Ra and legend. One of those crazy New York stories where I ended up being roommates with the great Marvin Boogaloo Smith. So every morning we would sit at breakfast and just talk about music, talk about life, talk about spirituality, talk about meditation. And then after a week, I'm like, yo, this man is dropping some serious jewels. Let me put up a microphone. You know, he was cool with it. So I just recorded a couple of weeks of us eating breakfast, just having conversations. And from that, you know, I listened to and I got inspired. So I started to chop up the audio, and I just started to create music in Logic around the audio from those interviews. So the entire project was created in Logic. You know, I put the interview excerpts in Logic. I put the drum samples and the bass, the keyboard, everything. Then I took that demo to the studio and just had my musicians play along to what I created in Logic. Recorded that stuff. Then I took that into post-production and chopped that stuff up and just created the project from the live recording that they played along to from the demo. That makes sense? That makes sense.
Yeah,
Totally. Yeah.
And that's been my formula since that record, man. Just creating demos in Logic or in Ableton, taking that to the studio, having the musicians play along to that because it gives you that human live feel. Then taking that recording material and just altering that for projects. You know?
Nice. I one more question, man, before we get out of here.
Yes,
Mine is more geared for Cameron. Well, to you for Cameron, but I'm wondering if there's something you can tell him, because soon he's going to be in that transitional phase. You know, when you finish school and now you got to eat with your instrument. What are some things some pointers you can give him to ease that transition? You know how it is. You got to college, you like, oh, now what?
I do, man. I do. Definitely. Well, from the musical side point of things, perspective of things, be versatile, man. Be able to take and put on different types of hats. I remember when I was graduating college, I went to Northern Illinois, outside of like west of Chicago. From Chicago, moved back home to the city, and I found myself doing all types of gigs, cafe gigs, wedding gigs, parades, nightclub gigs, birthday parties, funerals, like Mexican salsa, like all types of gigs, man. So just being versatile so that you can say yes to work, because the objective is to work. Also, I mean, not being afraid to, if you need to, go get an actual job, go get a 9 to 5, not 9 to 5, but a legit, paycheck every 2-week job. I have students and I have colleagues to this day that they work to fuel their art. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because the objective is still to fuel your art. You're just doing this, the means to get to where you're getting to. So I would say those are the top 2 things that came to my mind right now, man. Being versatile on your instrument. So if this opera calls and say, hey, we need a 3rd trumpet player, can you play this? It pays $400. Do you have a tuxedo? Can you be there? Yes, I have a tux. Yes, I can play C trumpet. Yes, cool. Or this, salsa Latin gig calls. Can you play 2nd trumpet on the salsa gig? And yes, I can. So being able to say yes to as many gigs as you can and having the skill set to do that. Yeah.
That's a great answer, man, because the thing about music is you never know who's connected to who. So you might be on that salsa gig in a Mexican restaurant and then some other guy from Blue Note is like, oh man, I work at Blue Note, or you know, and they link you, and the next thing you know, you're on a whole different situation, you know.
Absolutely. Opportunities, they lead to other opportunities, and they lead to other opportunities. So,
Yeah.
man, it's a beautiful thing, man. You're at a beautiful spot, so enjoy the journey, bro. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Can you talk about too, like you keep referencing like your students and teaching, like do you teach anywhere like through an institution, or are you just doing like private lessons? And can maybe you talk about like the importance or how teaching plays into just the role of an artist, and you know, being a mentor and having been mentored by artists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, man, the greatest teachers are forever going to be students. The greatest teachers are always students, man. So though I consider myself a mentor to some of my younger students, I'm always learning from them as well. Even in this interaction between me and you, I'm picking up little things you're doing, and I'm in student mode. I'm always learning. And in this music, specifically jazz, Black American music, it's just in the lineage of the music to pass down the things that we learn. You know, it's almost second nature. It's a part of the culture. Like, we learn something, and the ones that are coming up behind us, we pass it down naturally. That's just how it's always been, and I think it's going to always be that way if we keep this continuum in this culture alive. And also for me, I went to school for education. Like, I knew the importance of education since I was very, very young. I went to elementary school, and I started playing trumpet in the 4th grade, but I went to elementary school that actually had a jazz program. We had a big band. I was in 5th grade playing trumpet in the big band, sounding terrible, but I was in the big band. And for me, that exposure to the music, man, it just really opened me up, man. And it taught me, like, okay, my 4th grade band director, my teacher influenced me to want to fall in love with this music. You know, my high school teacher. So I've had mentors that were educators, and I just realized, you know, the importance of that education is everything. So I kind of dedicated my life to this music, and also to education, to, you know, passing down the music and the knowledge through this lineage. So
wow,
it's always been that way for me.
Wow, that's great, man.
Yeah, man.
That's great.
Yes,
Marquis, man, thank you. You got something, Cam? You had a question.
You answered all my questions.
Okay.
Are you working on any new projects? Do you have anything coming out soon?
Yeah, I got a couple things I'm working on, man. I've got a live project. I recorded in Chicago, I think a year ago, with a killing band. I'm excited to actually release it. I was talking to Cam about my first record that I put out. It's called New Gospel. And I listened back to this record, and I still kind of cringe, right? But for me, it's about the growth. Like, I put the record out, and the next record, and the next record. But this next record that I'm talking about, the live project, is we're playing all of the music from my first record in a live setting with kind of a obscure band that I put together. So it should be out pretty soon. That's what I've been working on lately, man. So.
Nice, man. Nice.
Yeah.
Bruh, appreciate you coming on, man. Really do, bro.
All up, man. I appreciate you guys and what y'all doing. Cam, keep in touch, man. Sound beautiful. Thank you guys for having me, man.
Yeah, Cam, thank you, man. You did a good job, man. I'm proud of you,
Yeah,
man.
Cam.
He did his thing. He did his thing in there.
Yeah. Marquis, thank you so much, man. It was such a pleasure and honor to have you on, man. Really feel blessed to have you around, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Much love.
Right.
Cam. So for those of you watching online, thank you guys so much. You know, we are bringing you this programming for free. So if you do have some extra cash lying around, we have a donate button on our Facebook page, and we hope to continue keeping this programming as free as possible, as cheap as possible. So, and we can only do that with the donations of you know, generous people in the community. So thank you guys very much for considering helping us out. Tomorrow we got Anat Cohen.
Anat Cohen, all right.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, y'all.
Awesome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Later. Peace.
Appreciate y'all.